Moving ahead now, the United Arab Emirates has rejected Saudi accusations that it pressured Yemen's Southern Transitional Council to carry out military operations threatening the kingdom's security. In a statement carried by state media, the UAE expressed regret over Riyadh's comments and firmly denied directing any Yemeni party to target Saudi territory. Abu Dhabi also dismissed claims that it sent weapons to STC forces, saying the shipment involved armored vehicles meant exclusively for UAE troops operating in Yemen. The foreign ministry said there was a high-level coordination with Saudi Arabia and an understanding that the vehicles would not leave port. Saudi Arabia earlier described the alleged attacks as a threat to national security, while the UAE warned the handling of the dispute could have wider repercussions. I now invite Andrew Latham, who's an international affairs expert, to join me in this discussion. Thank you very much, Andrew, for joining me here. Andrew, how do you foresee the UAE-Saudi Arabia relations going from here on, especially when the two have, enjoyed good ties, historically speaking?
Yes, they've been very closely allied for a long time, especially because they have a common enemy, which is Iran and Iran's proxies, including the Houthis. There's been a kind of Cold War ongoing in the Persian Gulf region for a long time now, and UAE and the Saudis have been on the same side. But a rift has opened up. I don't think it's terminal in the sense it's going to end the relationship, but there are tensions. The Saudis would prefer a unified Yemen as a bulwark against the Houthis and as a bulwark, therefore, against their sponsors in Iran. Whereas the UAE government has decided that they would rather simply consolidate the southern ports and the access to the oil routes and whatnot, and are willing, it's an open secret, although they deny it, it's an open secret that the Emiratis are backing the STC because they see that's the best way to contain Iran and the Houthis. So they both, the Saudis and the Emiratis, have the same strategic goal and the same strategic interests, but they are adopting different strategies to realize and achieve those goals and interests. And that's where the rift is. Can it be managed? Probably. But in the short run, there's likely to be a fair bit of turbulence.
All right, sure. And what about the question of any third-party intervention here in this conflict?
Well, it won't be China, and it won't be Russia, and it won't be the United States, and it won't be Israel for that matter. On the margins, yes, the Israelis have their ongoing activities in Gaza and the West Bank, and the U.S. has its ongoing activities in the Red Sea. But directly taking sides here, either diplomatically or militarily, I don't see that. The U.S., for example, has a very strong interest in maintaining a solid front involving the Emiratis and the Saudis against Iran to contain Iran. And the Israelis are largely buying into that as well. China is not a major player in the region, and Russia has its hands full elsewhere. So no, I don't see any external powers really trying to shape this dynamic.
But how can this rivalry, shape the dynamics, particularly in the Red Sea area and, the Arabian Sea shipping corridors as well?
Well, it's going to complicate the cooperation between the two governments, the Emirati government and the Saudi government. But it's not, as I said, they both have deeply shared interests in maintaining those sea lines of communication through which they ship their oil, their major export. And they both have an interest in containing Iran and the Iranian proxies, the Houthis. And so they're just disagreeing right now about how to do that. And it's more than a gentleman's disagreement at this point. It's getting quite heated, but I think at the end of the day, their shared interests, their shared strategic interests, will triumph, and there will not be a fracture or fragmentation of that relationship.
All right, thank you, Andrew, for your comments, but do continue to stay on with us. Moving ahead, viewers, now some news from Poland. Polish